Brilliant. Okay. So this is how I'll run through the 5 weeks. So everyone will get this well, the PowerPoint will go to the homeschool first, okay? And this power, and again, we'll probably have more edits to make maybe on the after at the end of this conversation. So what I'll do is I'll run through it, and then if anyone wants to offer any feedback or any amendments that we need to make, I will run through them, okay? So what this will be like our kind of cover page here. So you see it's the program for enhancing digital literacy, and then schools put in their name and their school crest in here, okay? And again, some schools have kind of have put in additional backgrounds and stuff and so on. So look, it's kind of this flexibility in which to do so, right? And Deirdre, actually, as I look at it, just remind me that we could there's another logo we need to put in, the Erasmus Plus logo in there as well, but we'll get to that. Okay. So this is, again, we're on session 1 here now. So the sessions are all in the 5 sessions are in the one PowerPoint. Okay. And you'll see here just from your own perspective as a facilitator that I've put down the notes that are here at the bottom. So the notes for each slide, the purpose. So that's indicating, well, what is this slide for? Okay. And then this one is just saying, well, the purpose of this one is just a placeholder. So when the class starts, that this will be projected up onto the screen. Okay. I neglected to say at the start, so apologies, that the targeted time for each session is between an hour and 15 minutes and an hour and 30. For phase 1, we had the sessions at 1 hour, and the feedback was it was just too short. Because by the time people come in and there's a cup of teas, etc., the time eats away. So the targeted time is between an hour and 15 minutes and an hour and a half. And it's at a time that suits you and your homeschool liaison. So it is to be, we have ran in phase 1 during the school day. So during the school day, at a day of the week and at a time that suits yourselves, and for an hour and 15 to an hour and 30 minutes. So how kind of generally the sessions would start is that wherever the location of the session is happening, that we had arranged then, like in the phase 1 schools, that when they come in, there was like tea, coffee, scones were there, depending whatever time it was, so that people were able to come down and sit down, have a bit of a chat, and then get into the actual work. Okay. So then what we do then is after that, you can see this slide here. This is your welcome slide. So this is people come in session 1, and then we give them a welcome, and you can see the way it's laid out again, the purpose of the slide. So what's this slide for? It's to welcome everyone, to introduce yourself, and to outline kind of logistics, okay? And you can see then I've put down the actual notes that might be able to help you in when the slide goes up on the screen. So we're delighted that you can join us. My name is, and so on and so forth. So these are really, these notes, you don't have to stick to them. They're just designed to support you in the key points that you would give across at certain points. So here, this is your welcome, and you just introduce yourself, who you are, what the kind of program is about. And so you can see here, before we begin, point out some logistics. It's now 10 o'clock. The session would finish at. So all of this will have to be changed by whoever by your homeschool liaison or digital leader. So there's certain content there that will just have to be kind of changed to suit whatever time and day you're running these things. Okay. Then what we do is we run through inductions. Bear in mind now we haven't even looked at a computer yet, because, and this is really important, and I think it was critically important from phase 1 that we noticed that the first session where we just create a warm atmosphere, and really that the purpose of this is to support the parents, and that it's an opportunity for parents to come together, to talk to each other, to work with each other, and to develop and increase their confidence in using the digital technologies that their sons or daughters are using every day. So really, it's not about where no one's getting degrees out of this. It's all about just building confidence. So the start of the sessions are really important in making people feel really welcome, and making it really clear about, I suppose, that about as a parent who you are and why you're here, and I suppose the kind of experiences that you have with your own son or daughter. So then we ask people then to run around. We do a run around whoever is there. So we just get them to say their name, what year their son or daughter is in, and this, I suppose, important what you hope to learn from the course. Now, this is you'll see here it says wow. So the good news is, as Deirdre said, on the 1st of April, isn't that right, Deirdre? That's the date we said. So on the 1st of April, you will be getting facilitator training from Paul Dicker, and Paul is excellent. So he really, really works on this part here. How do you create the atmosphere? how do you kind of make it really clear about what people are here for, what's the purpose, what are objectives. So you'll be getting really good training on how you do these things here. But what the wow is ways of working. Paul does a lot of work on that, because it's really important that when anyone turns up to a session, that there's agreed norms of how we work. So if that's like, you know, how do people ask questions? If you need a bit of help, what do you do? Where's the bathroom? Where's the fire exit? What time do we finish? You know, what are the objectives of each lesson? So that's when we talk about ways of working. So we kind of work those out with the people that are there. And then at that point, then we go into our objectives for session 1. So the objectives of session 1 are to introduce the PEDL program, about how to use VSware, and then introduce and use Microsoft Teams. Okay, so Deirdre, we have one Google School, but they're not here now. Is that correct? Deirdre says yes.
Yes, yeah.
Super. Okay, so what we're seeing here is based on schools who are using the Microsoft 365 platform. Some of our schools are using Google for Education, so we have a parallel PowerPoint that works for them. So this is where we just talk about your learning objectives. So this is the slide. We put this up and you say, right, everyone, this is what we're trying to get through today. We want to introduce you to the PEDL program. We want to show you how to use VSware, which will be really dependent on how it's been used in your own school. And then introduce and use Microsoft Teams. Now we're using it at a very basic level, right? So then and I'm going to move just a little bit quickly through this, everyone, because you will be getting all of this, but then this slide is, well, what is PEDL? So PEDL is a program to enhance digital literacy. It's designed to support parents learn digital skills and build their confidence to support their son or daughter. All right. And again, you will see all the notes are down here at the bottom. So if you need a little pointer or need a little support on what to say at certain points, we have put in all the notes here for you. So then we say, well, what are you going to learn here in PEDL? Well, you're going to look at the Microsoft 365 apps. You're going to look at VSware, and then we're going to look at pathways. So that kind of graduation thing looks at pathways. Again, all the notes are here for us. Then we outline to the parents what's involved in the 5 weeks. So today we're looking at VSware, email, so your Outlook, your OneDrive, your Word assignment, PowerPoint assignment, and post-school pathways. Now, I've been kind of thinking on this, I suppose, on how do we kind of, because Teams is going to be everything will be happening through Teams. Okay, so I'm just going to come out in a second. I'm going to come out to the PowerPoint just to show you something. But so when we say here, email, file storage, Word assignment, PowerPoint, all of that information will be delivered to the parents through Teams, which I will show you in a second. Okay. Now, so we start then, again, we haven't gone near Teams, anything now at this point. We've just kind of said to everyone what's happening, and then we look at the VSware app. So why do we do this? Because we would have found, and any homeschool, and maybe Sharon can relate to this here, that a lot of times we'd be going out to houses and hand-holding parents on actually downloading the app, getting them then to go in and giving them the password, and really some parents need a lot of support around that. So, and you know, I would chuckle to myself sometimes, because you know we're all good at downloading Instagram and so on, and sometimes we can say, well, it's very hard to download VSware, but so if you can use Instagram, you can use VSware. So VSware, again, this would be where the homeschool would take the lead on this now in your school, because really what we want is that every parent who comes, that they have the app, they can access the app, and they can use the app as is appropriate to their school. So what I've put in here is...
Could I just ask one question? See, for this, could we just get them to download that on their actual phones?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, no,
they don't need to do that on
the
computer. Oh, perfect. Okay, great.
Yeah. Oh, no, they'll be using their actual... Like, they should have it, right?
Yeah.
And if they have it, then we just move on.
Oh, perfect.
So
okay. Because it's incoming parents, they mightn't necessarily.
Yeah, exactly. So this would be literally like, okay, parents, take out your phone. Have you got the VSware app? And most people are going to say yes, but there might be someone who'll say no. And then the homeschool will have the password there with them, ready to get them to log in. And then if they do have the app, it's saying, okay, we just want to check with you now. Can you use all the functions that are open to you? And bear in mind now that these parents will be, they won't have as much information at the moment, because they'll be only coming into first year. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So what this is, maybe I suppose it's a little bit different, this one, everyone. Bear in mind, phase one, the parents were in the school, the students were in the school. So what this might look like really is that the parents won't have, they mightn't have, they won't have VSware yet, okay? So what this might look like for this phase two of where the parents of incoming first years is that we might just get them to download it, and then you as a parent might show them how it's used. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Or the homeschool might show them how it's used. So this might look a little bit different. So bear in mind that the phase one, the kids were in the school. Phase two, they won't be in the school. So there will be a bit of editing have to be done at the slide and local level here. And what you will do is set it up that we just get them to download the app. And then maybe at that point, the schools might have them set up. They might just have them set up and they might be there. They mightn't, and that's okay too. So it'll really just have to depend on what's happening in the school. But if they're not set up, then what I think it would be a good thing to do is you as a parent can show them. Of course, there might be certain things that you might want to show them, but you can just show them the functionality of the app. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Super. Okay, so then again, so that VSware one, it's very localized. It's very much going to have to depend on what's happening in your school, right? Right. Next, then what we do is you then as a facilitator, and now look, you will be at this point you will have got access to a test account. So you will have access to a school test account, and basically you will project onto the screen, and what you will do is you will put onto the screen and you go, right, this is what the Microsoft 365 is. This is where the various apps and so are, okay? And I just don't want to go into it now because I'm recording and I've got all my emails and stuff there. So if I even just, so I'll just come back. What I'll do is I'll show you that point when I stop recording, okay? So you're going to show them the various apps. And then what you do is we'll then hand everybody out. They will have their own test account with our test email address, if you like, that they'll use. So joeblogs@ramsgrangecommunityschool.ie, okay? So they'll have their test account. And at this point then, what we will do is this is the first time they'll be opening up the computer at the first time. So they'll open up the computer, they'll log into their Microsoft Office account, and they will then log into a team and they will join the team. Okay? So you might think, oh my God, how is that going to work? So what will happen is at this point, there will be a team set up. So for example, you can see here, your homeschool is going to set up. So here's the ones for the schools that we're in. So PEDL, Clara. So that was set up by the homeschool. So there'll be PEDL, Ramsgrange, PEDL, Public School, right? So it'll be set up. You won't have to do any of that at all. That will be set up in the background. So then what will happen is the parent will then come in and they're going to join. Do you see where it says join or create a team? So you will be giving a code to the parent and they will join a team with the code. Okay? And then once they enter the code, they will join the team. And the team, bear in mind now, is like the class. So you can see here, I'll go back and calendar back to teams. It's here. So they will join this here. Okay? Jennifer, I think someone popped in there. You might have to let them in if that's okay. Right, that is where we're at there. So they will join the team. And then you might put in like a comment on the team then, you might just put in like, you might put in a comment in the team just to say, you're all very welcome. So if I just even go in here to one here in Clara. So you might put a comment in here to say new conversation and put hi, you're very welcome. And you can see then the demo start replying. Okay, so then Paul would have put one in there. We can look at the 3 replies, hi, hi, hi. Okay, so that's just people that are checking then that we can use it and we can communicate. And that, everybody, is session 1. Really simple. So even so as has been outlined there, like Michelle might have mentioned, like that her son said, "Oh, it's really easy." So that's the whole idea behind it. That a parent will walk in here to session 1, and by the end of it, they will know how to join a team and to leave a comment. And you're sort of demystifying that whole thing, and you're just upskilling them. And it's really, really simple. Okay. That is session 1. So then we just finish up, then we go back over the kind of learning objectives. Right. Then we go into session 2. So again, same thing, that crest will be adapted. This is just projected up on the screen as people come in. And what are we looking at here today? We're looking at email, and we're looking at online storage, or the OneDrive. Now, this OneDrive is really important, because why is OneDrive important? And maybe I'll start sharing screen again when I just stop recording here and maybe show you, because students, what they do is just save everything into their storage space, but it needs to be organized in a storage space that you can access it effectively. So that's what we'll be doing with OneDrive. Okay. So you can see here then, and that Outlook. So you will give a little demonstration then how to send an email effectively, right? So how to send an email. So you can see here, I've given the notes here, how to use the subject line, because as teachers, we get emails off students where all they do is write in the subject bar. They'll write their whole email into the subject bar. And even sometimes emails can just be all over the place. So what we're doing here is we're kind of supporting the parents that, like, look, when you're communicating with the school, here's effective use of sending an email. And if you're communicating with the school or you're sending with everyone, it's really simple, everyone. But look, it's an important skill to learn, because like I say, you get emails off parents as well. Everything is in the subject line. You can't even read it. Okay. So what are we trying to do? We're looking to use the subject line. If you need to CC someone, do you need to attach in a file? And this is a really important one. Schedule an email to send at a later time, because as teachers and so everyone's so accessible, who wants to be getting an email at 11 o'clock at night? So you can write the email at 11 o'clock at night, but you can schedule it to send tomorrow morning. So what we do then is we have a little thing here. Look, it's very simple. This is what a bad email, and look, lads, what does a bad email? They'll tell you, right, sure, it's bad because da-da-da-da. Okay, there's no greeting, there's no signing off, etc. Right, and you can see I've got the notes in that. Well, this is a good email. Why is it a good email? And then people will tell you why it's a good email. And then what we do is we give them a little activity. So again, send an email to Mr. O'Neill. So this email address here, so we're going to ask them then to send an email. Now, this email address will be changed by your home school, because they will obviously have to put up the email address of whatever the test account has been set up at local level. Okay? And you're just asking them to do those things. Can you send the email? Can you CC someone? And can you schedule it to send late tomorrow morning? Okay? And again, from phase 1, they schedule the email to send later. Like, you know, that one just, people are like, oh my God, why have I not been doing that before? Okay? And it seems really simple, but it's true. And then we just check in with everyone. Okay, can you do these things? Can you log into your email account? Can you use the subject line? Can you CC someone? Can you attach a file? Can you send it? And we just get everyone, just double check. And then once everyone has kind of said, yeah, I can do that, we move on. And then we go to OneDrive. So I'm going to give the demo in a second now, but we'll give a little demo. This is how you use your OneDrive. Okay, and we're asking them, we want them to be able to create a folder, rename a folder, share a folder, and upload a file to a folder. Okay, which is quite simple, but I'll just kind of show it again. So we give them an activity. We say, right, everyone, we want you to open your OneDrive now, which I'm going to show in a second where to do that. We want you to create a folder, call it English. Create a new Word document in the folder. Title that document English Homework. And then we want you to go back out again to your OneDrive and share the folder with, again, that email will change, okay, depending on who's there. And then what we do is we check in with everyone. Okay, can you log into your OneDrive? Can you create? Or can you rename? Can you share? Can you create a file? Can you upload? And that, everyone, is session 2. Done. And we just check back in. Right, can you use your email? Can you use your OneDrive? Now, what I am going to do, and I'll be sending this on to you again, is that here, and you might be thinking to yourself, what is that fella talking about? How am I going to know how to do that? So I've put together a little bank of video resources here for yourselves, right? So I'll email this on with more content to you on Monday, and you will be able to click on these. If you need a little bit of upskilling, here are just some videos that you can click on. So like a guide to using OneDrive. You can click on that. It's a link to a YouTube video, which you could then do yourself. Okay? Because we know there's a little bit that you'll have to do in between. So that's session 1 and session 2. I'm just going to fly through session 3, 4, and 5 just to show you what it looks like now, because I know I'm coming up. I said we've done by 10:30, so I need to stop yapping. Deirdre has given you a brief outline in this as well, so I'm just going to kind of zoom through it. You will see that the kind of format is the same. So what are we doing in session 3? We're looking at Word, and we're kind of researching local colleges, training centres. And just in case some people ask, well, why are we doing this? So the research around the parental involvement with students, and they say that, and it's the impact of parental involvement on student achievement. The greatest, I suppose, the biggest indicator of the biggest thing that you can do as a parent to support the academic achievement of your son or daughter is to have high aspirations, high expectations, and create a good atmosphere for learning to support their learning. So as opposed to it being at post-primary level about kind of sitting down with them and really, like, you know, and getting on top of them and doing everything and saying, have you done this, have you done this? It's about the expectations, I suppose, placing the value on education and the expectations for them to maximize their potential. So that is seen as the biggest indicator of academic achievement. So how from a role of a parent. So you as a parent, if you have high expectations and create an atmosphere for learning at the home, that at post-primary level is the biggest indicator, or is the biggest effect on academic achievement. So we just said that if we as parents have knowledge, so if ever your son or daughter comes home and says, geez, I'd love to be a nurse, and then you mightn't have to do anything about that. You might have a conversation about that, but you mightn't have the knowledge on, well, what do they need to be to do a nurse? So we're trying to show the parents, well, look, here's where you can go and get information. And then when you go back to have that conversation with your son or daughter, you will be in a better position to do so. So you need to go, if you have the skills to find out information about different career paths and about different programs, that is really helpful to your son or daughter, that you can have that conversation. Now, they might also tell you where to go when you try and have that conversation, but look, that's another conversation. So what are we doing here? We do Word. So this one now we're looking at Word, and what will happen is that the parents will come into the class. As is every class at this point, they will open up Microsoft Teams and we'll say, right, everyone, open up Microsoft Teams, and you'll have maybe something in the chat like, today we're looking at Word. Here are the things we want to do in Word. Can you insert an image? Can you change the space? Can you do this? So you'll then open up a Word document from your OneDrive. You'll demo then, just start typing things. Show people how to insert an image, change the space between lines, change the font size, create bullet points, create numbers. Voice typing, I might take that one out. Maybe you just kind of make that call yourself, because it depends on the device that you have. How do you insert a hyperlink and how do you number your pages? Okay, so that will be you will demonstrate that. Okay, really simple stuff. And then they're going to get an assignment. So then go right into Teams. There'll be an assignment there, which will be set up there by your homeschool liaison. The parent will open up the assignment, and what they'll be doing is name 3 local colleges, find out 3 facts, insert a picture, and insert a hyperlink to the website. So they'll complete that there and then in front of you, and they'll return it as an assignment on Teams. Okay? And then we just put back up our checklist. Right, can you do all of these 10 things? And everyone, that is session 3. Okay, and that will take the full hour. We had originally planned in phase 1 that we do another thing, but we quickly learned that takes the full hour between tea and everything. So into session 4, and then we're into, right, what are our learning objectives here? PowerPoint, you can complete an assignment on Teams, you research an apprenticeship program. Format is exactly the same. So I'm going to go quickly on this now again, because we'll be looking at this again in our additional training. So what do we do? There's a PowerPoint. You will demonstrate how to use a PowerPoint, how to create a presentation, add a slide, do these things here, which we're going to come back to in a while. There'll be an assignment on Teams where they'll do a PowerPoint, where they'll create a PowerPoint. We put up on the screen then, okay, everyone, here's your checklist. Can you do all of these things? Okay. That's session 4. And then we go into session 5. And on session 5 then, myself and Deirdre were talking about this during the week, that maybe we need to look at, we'd originally looked at it all about post-school pathways, and I suppose I'm looking for people's feedback on this, and particularly for any homeschools that are here. We said it might be a good idea to add in some junior cycle information, like really simple stuff, okay? So this is the language that you will hear about your sons or daughters who are in junior cycle at the moment. You hear them talking about CBAs, short courses, subjects, assessment tax, well-being, exams, you know, what subjects are their exams in. So I'm just wondering, and I'll throw it out there and I'll ask when I stop recording here in a minute, what people think about this. You know, is there anything else I'm missing there, like that we could add in? So bear in mind, these parents will be, they may not, this might be their first time having a son or daughter going into first year. So all of this language is new to them. So all we're doing is just saying, look, you're going to hear a lot about this. Here is what these things mean. Now, this will also have been done at school level. We're just kind of reinforcing it. Okay. And then what we do is we give a demonstration on how to use Careers Portal, which again, there'll be additional training followed on this. This is, we'll give them an intro. We'll ask people, this is what Careers Portal does. It's a really good website, everyone. This is where we want people to register. We'll ask people to take an interest profiler, and then how to use the search bar on the website. Now, what we found from phase 1, everyone, is that this session worked really well for the parents themselves. So, and we targeted in such a way that was the case. So at the end of it, some of your parents are going to want to do another course or another something, okay? So we found that this one was less about the kids, more about themselves. So what parents ended up doing is they started looking up courses for themselves and started looking up skills for themselves and looking up things that they could do. And then we linked in with the local adult education officer here who came out to the class and was telling them about loads of different stuff that was on in their area. So we can look at that again to deliver in your own area. So we'll be coming back to that again. I just wanted to maybe show it to you because that is what that is the website there. I'll just kind of maybe go on to it here in a second just to kind of show you it here. So this is Careers Portal. It might be worth your while just to mess around with it if you want yourselves. When you go onto it, if you join up there, so it's a very easy process just to join. But you can see here, there's loads of information about education depending on where you are in the school system. But we will be coming back to that. And that is, yes, I just wanted to maybe show you. Deirdre mentioned about apprenticeships. So you'll see there's a little bit there about apprenticeships. You can see there's websites that we're all going to be showing you, okay? And I'd say we could stop there. Jennifer.